Welcome back, everybody, to our Elden lore playthrough. I was going through my spells, and I realized I was missing something that I desperately wanted. I even reminded myself, there's something missing every time I fight, isn't there? And it's this, right back here. We are currently in Caelid. We have gone behind Fort Jail. We just rode around the corner, that's all. And over here on this pile, we've got a smoldering butterfly, but the more important thing should be right here. Flame, grant me strength. Is a spell that I want and forgot to get before. I apologize for forgetting to show it when we were doing all of Caelid. Especially when it's such a good spell, I can't imagine why I would have forgotten it. Hold on, let me kill this guy. Why? Because he's there. He deserves it. Let me just make everyone stop being angry at me for a sec. I don't feel like running around to unaggro everything. There's a trick for y'all. If you leave and then re-enter the game, you can just unaggro everything. So, let's take a look at Flame Grant Me Strength. This is something we are going to equip to ourselves because it's very good. And it will be very helpful for these upcoming tough fights. Superior Incantation of the Fire Monks creates an invigorating fire within that enhances physical and fire affinity attack power. This incantation does not burn the caster, and so it is considered forbidden by the Guardians of the Flame. Oh, you didn't burn yourself? Coward. Anyway, it's a nice attack buff that you can combine with your other nice attack buffs and stack them together, which is nice and helpful. I mean, I don't need the law of regression at all. I could throw something else there. I don't know. What should I use? Oh, I know what I could use. Ronnie's Dark Moon. Insufficient free slots. So, this is something we haven't encountered yet, but Ronnie's Dark Moon takes 2 slots instead of just 1. You can even see it says slots use 2. There are some spells that will use more than 1 slot. Such as Common Azure, which uses 3, for example. So, I just figure we'll throw Ronnie's Dark Moon at people every so often. Thank you for the resub. 68 montharoos. Okay, quick recap of what we did last time. We finished everything we could about Ronnie's quest up to the point where the only thing left to do is stand at the foot of the Erd Tree, prepared to become Elden Lord, where Ronnie will once again be capable of seeing us. We even have our spouse sword, the Moonlight Greatsword. Which basically says Ronnie will marry us. She's willing to. By the way, do you have anything new to say yet?
I can hear it from across the wing.
Nope. Okay, just making sure. Now then, this leaves us with only a couple options of places we haven't been. We were told by one Shabriri here at the Zamor Ruins that there is some underground stuff under the capital that we could check in the sewers. We know that we have gone through a different underground place to get to this great waterfall crest after the Siofra River had carried us all the way down below there. Let me tell you, it is a different place than the underground sewers beneath the capital. And, of course, we have the Mountain of Giants to do. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the Great Waterfall Crest. We're going to go underground, and we are going to go figure out what it is that could possibly be down there that's interesting. Spoiler alert, there's some interesting stuff down there. Who could have guessed? Anyway, give me a moment. 1 second. 1 second. Uh-huh, Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. All right, so quick reminder on how we got here. At the edge of the Seofer River, there was, after we defeated 2 gargoyles, a stone coffin that when we laid down in it went up this waterfall up to here and apparently broke on the way up, unfortunately. But it lit up with runes and carried us up here through magic. And now we are in a place called the Great Root Depths. And look, we can already see a Erd Tree avatar just walking around over there. I guess we'll go say hi, huh? We'll really buff up. Damn, this thing got wrecked. The power of the buffs. We get the Staff of the Avatar from it. New weapon. Now let's go all the way down to our staves. It has to be down here with the staves. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Am I right? It's not down with the staves. That's right, because it counts as a bonkin weapon as opposed to a casting staff. Here we go. Ceremonial staff depicting the Erd Tree in its historic radiance, wielded by the avatars who protect the minor Erd Trees. The avatars, emerging in the wake of the Elden Ring's shattering, were determined to protect the withering Erd Tree's offspring. With the unique skill Erd Tree Slam, you jump up and do the butt slam. The resulting pratfall sends golden shockwaves in all directions. It is the most powerful of all the Grand Slam skills. Yay, butt slams. Let's see. Well, we'll put that on. Hey, do you see that? That's a big ant. It's a big shield head ant on top of it. Sneak up behind it. Shh, don't let it know we're here. Got him. Ah! There was another one the whole time. Ash of War, Golden Land from that. Take a peek at that Ash of War real quick. Golden Land. I believe it is just the butt slam or something similar. Thrust your arm to the ground, then gather strength to unleash a blast of sacred energy that coalesces into golden darts. Oh, it's that one, right. Follow up with a strong attack to sweep the armament. Usable on great axes, hammers, and stuff. Yeah, it's the golden explosion followed by all the little blasts that follow up afterwards that the Erd Tree avatars can do. Here's the problem with that as a player character. Most enemies don't stagger when you hit them with small damage. Most enemies require big damage to stagger. So a weapon, a weapon art like that, I was going to say weapon, isn't particularly great unless you're facing a very small enemy that can get staggered from it, which, like I said before, most do not. Oh no. Owie. My body. Look at these massive tree roots that we're running across. Big, powerful tree roots. Doesn't have a thing on it, does it? I don't think it has an item on it. Hey, look. Ants. With wings. Flying ants. We're gonna have to go deal with them, too. There's the cave entrance. Let's see. Oh, I don't even have a map yet, right? we need a map so I know where I'm going. I could zoom myself to the map, which should be forward. Leave me alone, Ant. I'm busy. Uh-oh. Wrong way. Let's go this way. Once I've got the map, I'll backtrack a bit and start picking stuff up. Look at all the flying ants, man. There's so many of them. Oh, hey, something fell to its death. And of course, a bunch of corpses around them because ants kill people when they are giant. It's a real good thing that insects don't grow to giant size in real life. The insect world is horrifying. Ah, yes, you see, this creature paralyzes you and then injects its larva inside of your body, where the larva will eventually eat you from the inside out. Thanks, insect world. That's exactly what I needed in my life, is knowing that that exists. There we go, the Deep Root Depths map. And here is a proper map of the area. We're gonna backtrack now and start grabbing stuff. The map. Map of the Deep Root Depths. At the very depths of the Erdtree's majestic roots lies the source of the Ainzel and the Siofra rivers. Here, too, begins the network of great tree roots that spread throughout the lands between. So, yes, we are currently... Oh, I forgot I got Aegis Bell. We are currently at the roots, the source of the Erdtree. This is also where the source of the Siofra and Ainzel rivers are, which means that it flows down from here down to there, and from here down to here. The Erdtree is well watered. Let's hit the cave for now. Ant cave. Let's go find some ants and kill them. Hey, look! Giant bulbous ant. Reminder, that thing's kind of like a queen ant. In that it's got like a big egg sac or something on it. But, as I said before, this thing dies in a single hit. You will always kill it in one hit. And it will always give you a really high-quality rune. We get a Newman's rune. I don't recall if we've ever gotten a Newman's rune before, but we will read that real quick. Once I'm sure the ants aren't coming. Newman's rune. There we go. Grace that dwells within the inhabitants, yada yada. The Newmen are said to have come from outside the lands between and are in fact of the same stock of Queen Marika herself. Which tells us that Queen Marika originally is a Newman. For her racial background. Look at all the bulbous ants. They're huge. There's so many. Pop the balloons. Each one gives us a Newman's Rune and a Rune Arc. Nice spoils. And look, a bunch of ants are dropping from the ceiling because they're all angry that I killed those, but, unless they can figure out how to get up here, I don't think they can hit me. Haha, you don't have the reach. But I do. I can't be touched. Easy peasy. So yeah, I can just kill the ants like that, but takes a little while. I'd rather do it like this. It's faster. Less safe, more speed. Hey, what do we got over here? We've got Somber Smithing 6. That's nice. EDF. To protect our Mother Earth from any alien attacks, from vicious giant insects who have once again come back. We'll unleash all our forces, we won't cut them any slack. The EDF deploys. I couldn't remember that lyric for a bit. There we go. Kill the ants. Kill them all. Okay, cleared out this cave. Most of what was in that cave, as you saw, was a bunch of big balloon ants to pop for their Newman's runes, but at the end of it, we get Elden stars. This legendary incantation is the most ancient of those that derive from the Erd Tree. It creates a stream of golden shooting stars that assail the area. It is said that long ago, the Greater Will sent a golden star bearing a beast into the lands between, which would later become the Elden Ring. So you're telling me that this here Greater Will decided to drop down some magical beast, and that beast turned into the Elden Ring, and that's where all this stuff comes from? I don't know if I believe that. I'd have to see such a beast before I could believe it. See, there should be an item down here. Yes, yes. Just some holy grease. Nothing big. The Elden Stars is definitely a really important thing for us to pick up. We'll be able to talk about it, well, basically a little bit more at the end of the game. Until then, just keep it in the back of your mind. Ants everywhere. Somebody dropped donuts all over the floor, and that's how you get ants, chat. I swear. They didn't vacuum up their mess, and now there are ants everywhere down here. Oh, here it is. Hey, look. There's a finger reader crone all the way down here.
Oh, Lord Godwin. Such cruelty. Such humiliation. should have died a true death. As the first of the demigods to die. As a martyr to destined death. But why must it yet bring such disgrace? A scion of the Golden Bough, sentenced to live in death. How could such a thing come to be? Oh.
So, this finger reader was likely assigned to the two fingers that had something to do with Godwin. Godwin might have been an Empyrean himself. But she's down here in the Dark Root Depths because, reminder, if we take a look at that map, it tells us that this is the majestic roots of the Erd Tree. This is where the big-name people are put after they die, which means we should be able to find Godwin's actual corpse down here. Somewhere within the roots of the Erd Tree. Somewhere. Okay, Hey, you. I was looking at something and not paying attention. You can't just attack me like that. Stream died for a second there, guys. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure how long ago that started. But anyway, we rode into this little, like, temple here with all these dead gargoyles. Killed one and grabbed ourselves an Ash of War. Vacuum Slice. Let's find it somewhere. Here we go. Lost skill of ancient heroes. Hold the armament aloft to surround it with a shearing vacuum, then launch it forwards as a blade-like projectile. Usable on swords and axes. Colossal axes accepted. Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hopefully that was just a hiccup. It was definitely on Twitch's end, because I didn't lose any internet or anything like that for a second. And if it's on Twitch's end, we hope that it doesn't last, because if Twitch's end is having troubles and it's all fucky, then that kind of kills our ability to do the stream and whatnot, you know what I mean? But we'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully it'll be okay. Look at all the basilisks here! So my theory is that we find all these basilisks deep underground because they were at some point relatively normal creatures. But we find them all connected towards the roots of the Erd Tree, where the source of the Deathblight comes from, where the Prince of Death is, and I believe that for Elden Ring, at least, all the basilisks you can consider to be corrupted lizards that somehow have absorbed the abilities of the Rune of Death to inflict Deathblight. And these are not entirely natural creatures anymore. Or I should say they're natural, but they're just naturally death-related now. A reminder, we've gotten information on Headless Knights being those that were willing to sacrifice themselves in order to protect the honor of Godwin and whatnot. They usually hang out around mausoleums. We have a Headless Knight on a headless horse here at the supposed gravesite of where we can expect to find Godwin's corpse, the roots of the Erd Tree. I thought you were going to fall for a second there. Mausoleum Knight Greaves. There we go. Graves won by headless knights who endlessly guard the wandering mausoleums. Time has yet to dull their luster. Okay. Should be a grace not too far away from here. I don't believe it's down there, though. However, we'll take a little ride around over here, take a look at what we can find. Human bone shards within these corpses. Makes sense. Golden runes, clarifying boluses, a nascent butterfly. Golden rune. And oh, look. Why, there's another coffin we could rest in. We'll think about doing that later, once we're a little more complete with the area. The horse is also headless. How do they navigate? Magic spirit. They're magic spirits. Don't worry about it. The correct answer is don't worry about it. If you try to make sense of it, you're not going to make sense of it. More mausoleum knights wandering around here again. They are supposed to be protecting the honor of Godwyn, so it makes sense they'd be all around here. This is the structure we went in before where we got that Ash of War. Just wanted to show it off one more time. Is there anything behind this waterfall? I think so. Oh, yep, there it is. Oh god, it's a bear. The most terrifying enemy of all. A bear. Dude, look at its health. Oh, come on. You can't just spam the fast slam or the fast charge. How did that not deal damage to him? It was inside of his body. Oh, no. During my roll. Come on. Ow. Oh. Please, Mr. Bear, can your giant fucking body get out of my way for half a second so I can do anything? Thank you. You gotta wonder why these bears are so goddamn powerful. Sheesh. More terrifying than most bosses. But he does have a nice drop for us, a talisman called the Prince of Death's Cyst. I insist we look at it. We had the pustule before, now we've got the cyst. A fetid, overgrown cyst taken from facial flesh. You can even see, like, eyes and a nose on it. Greatly raises vitality, which gives you resistance to death effects. It is said that this cyst came from the corrupted visage of one unable to die a true death. Indeed, it comes from the Prince of Death, scion of the Golden Bough, and first of the dead among the demigods. Bear heard I wasn't preventing forest fires. I'm preventing all the forest fires. If it weren't for me, everything would be on fire right now. In fact, fuck that bear. I might light everything on fire anyway. just because it attacked me. Hey, look, a mausoleum. A wandering mausoleum. Ooh. Whoop. Oh my god. Good shot. Up. Get out from behind the trees. Oh, no you don't. Did this basilisk have to make itself part of the fight? Oh, and he brought his friends? Okay. I did 666 damage. I'm the devil. Mausoleum Knight Armor. Yay! Good morning, Official Haka. How are you? Good morning to Finland. Okay, will the basilisks leave me alone now? Good. Mausoleum Knight Armor shouldn't be too far away. There it is. Armor worn by the headless knights who endlessly guard the wandering mausoleums. The wing-shaped ornaments on its back evoke the death bird. A self-inflicted curse that ties the spirits of these loyal knights to the land have willingly beheaded themselves so that they may serve their masters in death. It invokes the death bird. Interesting. So, that's pretty, important here because we've seen that the Deathbirds are these very ancient beings that have probably existed even before the Erd Tree started taking root. So using this, they call it a curse, but if anything, it's just a ritual. They're able to tie their spirits to the land by invoking the Deathbirds in order to prevent their spirits from either returning to a cycle of rebirth and reincarnation, or from just plain being dead. All right. Whee! Oh no! You. How come it didn't let me do my my double jump to get back up? Let's try that again. Whee! Torrent just wanted another big jump. Artery leaf. Nothing too interesting there. How am I? I'm good. Getting that Elden Ring lore in. Okay, should be something here that's useful. Maybe I'll look for it later. I'll go down to the bottom area first and then make my way up. It might be up higher. There's a little bit of verticality to this area because of the winding routes that you can climb up. Hiya! Got any drops for me? Just a partisan. Nothing hidden behind that waterfall. Am I ready for the DLC? Hell yeah. Excited for it. Technically getting ready for it right now. I'll be taking this character into the DLC. Look at all the Mausoleum Knights just hanging about, looking ominously into the distance. By the way, this says a lot about how much loyalty and respect Godwin had Because there are a lot of Mausoleum Knights here. A lot of people that willingly just said, cut my head off. We got the Lord's Shield, the Lord's Sworn Shield. Wooden tower shield, lightweight for a great shield and easy to handle. Commonly used in the Shattering. Great shields boast high defense, yada yada. Just a common great shield. Look at you. Trying to get the free shots on people? I don't think so.
Thank you!
POI.
POI. Poi. Mausoleum Soldier Ashes. I can have my own company of Mausoleum Soldiers now. Nice. Yeah, okay. That's where we are. Should be in the tier 2. Used to summon the spirits of 5 Mausoleum Soldiers. Spirits of 5 headless soldiers who confound foes by disappearing and reappearing at will. The mausoleum is where the bodies of soulless demigods are lain to rest, and these soldiers followed their masters into death by severing their own heads from their bodies. Although there is only one demigod, one soulless demigod, so despite saying that that's where they're lain to rest, that is a lie. Because, I mean, there's only Godwyn, and his body is not within any of the mausoleums. As for the Mausoleum Soldier Ashes and how good they are, the fact that you get 5 of them is really nice. The only problem with it is the fact that they when it says they like to disappear and reappear to confound enemies, they do that a lot, to the point where they could attack much more and be more effective, and that disappearing, reappearing stuff winds up being detrimental, as unfortunate as it is. Because having five cooperators is strong. And the Mausoleum Knights can do damage. They're just programmed to do their disappearing act a little more than they should be. Oh, it's just a somber 6. That's not much. Shh, don't tell them I'm here. Uh-oh. Idiot. Idiot being me. Huh. Guy teleported behind me, and I got lucky by doing my jumping attack. Some nice hitbox porn. These guys are dropping quite a lot of stuff. Can I tell you the origin for Scarlet Rot and where it came from? That actually came on the last stream I did. Essentially, it's an outer god, an alien that found its way into the lands between. And its corpse is all the way over here in the under the Lake of Rot. However, its power and spirit was then given to an Empyrean Melania, and she inherited that power, and that is why Caelid is coated in rot, because during her fight with General Radahn, she let go of her control over the rot, it exploded outwards, and all of Caelid got completely ruined by it. Crucible Knight. Crucible Knight Siluria. This one has a name. Look, you're gonna have to come over here, or you're just gonna keep taking blasts. You had your chance. You could have come over here at any time. You just stood there and ate them. I feel nothing but pity for you. Siluria's Tree. That is the spear weapon. We'll take a look at that right after we grab the Crucible Tree set. I think Siluria's Tree is down this way, pretty far down. There it is. Weapon of one of the two honored as foremost amongst the Crucible Knights. The primordial form of the Erd Tree is close in nature to life itself, and this spear modeled on its crucible is imbued with ancient holy essence. Unique skill, Siluria's Woe. Thrust the weapon in a spiraling motion, surrounding it in a vortex of wind. Charged attacks have the power to blow away enemies and can fire the tornado forwards. So, the primordial crucible is close in life itself, and notice that this thing is a bunch of antlers, a bunch of horns all put together with a spear at the end. The reason this is important is because everything we've seen about the Golden Order has been ragging on horns, tails, scales, wings. Those four big things have been the source of persecution, hatred, stuff like that. That's why the Omens get their horns cut off, because they're seen as disgusting and stuff. But the Crucible Knights are using weapons and iconography that is close in nature to the source of life itself, the Crucible, modeled on the Crucible. And the Crucible is all surrounded by those things we said before. Horns, wings, scales, tails, stuff like that. That is where primordial life all originated from, was those four big defining features showing up in most of the life forms from primordial times. Part of the reason why the Crucible Knights are, I guess, exiled at this point in time, rather than all being like super elites at Lindell or anything, is because of the fact that they have all this iconography of crucible things, of things that are supposed to be seen with disgust, seen as profane. So we've got the Crucible Tree Helm, much like the Axe Helm, only with antlers and stuff. The great tree ornamentation is the Knight Siluria's mark displayed also by her men. Holds the power of the Crucible of Life, the primordial form of the Erd Tree. Strengthens aspect of Crucible incantations. It's the exact same as the Axe Helm, only antlers. Crucible Tree Armor, same thing, only slightly more feminine because it was worn by a woman rather than a man. But otherwise, the exact same description as the other Crucible set we got, with just a little variation on it. Again, the important thing is the description from the weapon and how the weapon is kind of like a proof and descriptor of the hypocrisy that is commonly shown by the Golden Order. Are Valiant Gargoyles more difficult to beat than Melania? Sometimes, but not overall. Any 2v1 boss fight can be the hardest fight in the game, depending on your luck. Ow. Got that Deathblight sword. It's specifically why I don't like 2v1 boss fights and never will. If you're unlucky, it's just impossible to deal any damage without trading a hit. A sec. Maybe if I hop up on top of this, there will be something. Stone Sword Key. Nice. Good to see. By the way, the walking mausoleum that we saw earlier didn't have any of those skulls on its legs for you to knock off in order for you to make it sit down. For mausoleums that do not have any skulls on them, we've seen one other before, the only way to make them sit down is to get on top of them while they're still moving. There's one that does the exact same thing in Liurnia. That the only reason I didn't go through the rigmarole of making it sit is because getting on top of that one is a lot more of a pain than getting on top of, say, this one. And that's where we find the skulls to knock off of it, to force it to sit, is up here on top of it. Just gotta keep an eye out for them and clean things up a little bit. Clean things up a little... What the hell? Are you sitting down already? Yeah, okay, yeah. That explains it. And this mausoleum has a bell, which means that we can dupe literally any of our remembrances. Remember, the non-bell remembrances cannot dupe any, or the non-bell mausoleums cannot dupe any of the remembrances of one who bared a great rune. And you can only get things that didn't bear great runes, like the Regal Ancestor and Estelle the Natural Born, but these ones can dupe any remembrance. There's only 3 of those remembrance dupers in the game that can do anything. So they're kind of precious. By the way, I want to point something out real quick before we continue. Notice that this is called the Nameless Eternal City, and if we look at the architecture of the buildings are exactly the same as what we have seen before from Nokron and Noxtella. The biggest difference is that there is no false night sky here. Instead, it's got this kind of grody, pale, yellow-brownish mist everywhere with all these roots. But I want to remind you of Estelle, Natural Born of the Void, a malformed star born in the lightless void far away, once destroyed an eternal city and took away their sky. And if you recall, if we go to Estelle's boss fight chamber, that there is a false night sky sitting here, and it clearly wasn't here because Estelle created it, because the second Estelle dies, it doesn't go away or anything. It's still here. It looks exactly like the false night sky that we've seen over Nokron and Noxtella. Meaning, Estelle originally landed in this area at the Nameless Eternal City, wreaked havoc, destroying everything, stole their false night sky, and made his way all the way down the Ainsel River, and eventually set up shop here. Because remember, the Deeproot Depths are the source points for both the Ainsel River and the Siofra River, which means Estelle could have made his way down here, or he could have made his way down there, or he could have even just settled here. The reason he didn't settle here is because they didn't want to put 2 big bosses next to each other. I mean, because he felt like moving. And felt, I don't know, maybe more akin in this direction. And if anything, it seems that he was trapped under the Lake of Rot. More than likely, Estelle had already made his way down here, and then the outer god of Rot was slain, its corpse festering here, preventing Estelle from leaving this area because of the Lake of Rot that was above it. And because behind it was a magic barrier it could not break. So it got trapped, essentially, by the Rot. In case you're wanting a little bit of information on why this is called the Nameless Eternal City, why it has all the same architecture designs as Nokron and Noxtella, why Estelle was where Estelle was. There's reasons behind all of it. They thought about it, chat. They didn't just put things willy-nilly. They thought about it. That's one of the things that's really great about the FromSoft Souls-like games is that they think about the placement of all things. Why is something in this place instead of somewhere else? Why is this place ruined? Why does this place have this architecture, etc., etc.? Prince of Death Staff. This acts like the other staff we got that is related to death, so it should be somewhere next to it, which I might have bypassed it. Okay, maybe it's not exactly the same. We'll go down to our staves. Oh, there we go. Staff embedded with sullied amber, said to be a very part of the Prince of Death. It enhances death sorceries. One of the staves deemed heretical by the Academy for its ability to allow sorceries to be augmented through faith in addition to intelligence. So this staff has a boost in death sorcery. It has a scaling of both int and faith. I guess a tiny bit of strength for whatever reason. And because it has that split scaling, it means it's just kind of not as good as other staves that you can get, unless you're going to, like, max level your faith and intelligence both. And even then, it would maybe be slightly better than another staff, but pretty unlikely people are going to do that. Even with casting death sorceries, it's not particularly great. Again, the overall strongest, just straight up strongest staff is Lusat's staff, but the trade-off of 50% more mana cost for 10% more damage kind of doesn't add up. Uh-oh. Ooh, did I do that in time or did I die? This is going to be interesting. We're fine. I did it. We fast. Fast enough, at least. Do. I will say one thing that is kind of implied by the Prince of Death's staff existing at all is that because it is of the Prince of Death, there is a possibility, this is hinting at Godwin might have learned some sorcery before he was killed and had a little bit of connection to sorceries. But it could also just have very easily been created by anyone that worships the Prince of Death as some level of god of death being, which I'm sure there are those who do that. And they just got a piece of him. All right, across the roots. I think that's most of the stuff that we can take a look at. At least the important stuff. There's some more pickups around, but they're all just upgrade materials. It's up to you whether you want them or not. And I don't think any of them are like max rank upgrade materials. I think they're like 6s and 7s and whatnot here and there strewn about. So I wouldn't worry too terribly much about them. If you want them, you can ride around and look for them. They're just on corpses and hanging around and stuff. And hey, behold the corruption of the Erd Tree. There's Godwin. There he is. Isn't he a looker now? You can even see the remnants of his golden hair that have been now kind of disgustingly changed in their shape and everything. Lots of flies, maggots, worms all over the place. You got this purple hue here. There's death root everywhere around him. because he is the source of the death root. Yeah, he's looking a little worse for wear when you get right down to it, huh? So let's get right down to a little bit of what has happened to him visually. Back up just a tiny bit. So you'll recognize that the face is exactly the same face as what was under Stormvale Castle. It is the same exact horrifying face thing. The difference is in the rest of it looking different. The rest of the face thing under Stormvale Castle seemed to have like a human-esque body beneath it, but this one, no longer human-esque at all. It is instead almost insectoid in the way that it looks like it's kind of layered with chitinous plating a little bit for the torso area, and then it comes down into this tail, this fish tail, and the fish tail is multiple blasphemous things according to the Golden Order. It is A, a tail, and B, scales. You've got the hair that now is hardened and almost looks as though they are horns, but that's a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Here you can see an arm growing out of his back, and it has a massive bracelet. I'm not sure why the bracelet's so massive. I don't think Godwin was... In fact, the depiction of Godwin when he was alive was a normal sized person, maybe a little bit larger as a demigod. He was certainly not a giant. His body has mutated in this massive form, so those bracelets should not be possible to exist, but I guess the design team thought it looked cool. And Deathroot sprouting all around him everywhere. You can also see that his face is now upside down with the connection of where his neck should be being more like the top of where his head should be. His face is upside down or sideways or something. There's where his nose is, his eyes, and then there's the connection to the torso. So, like, the mutations in his body are extremely random and a little nonsensical. Again, if I were to give a good reason for why he looks like this, it would be because the design team thought it looked cool. And they're right. It does look cool. Fia's champion! Hey, remember Fia when she left the Round Table Hold? Well, she's got a simp squad. And I mean simp squad, not a single simp. That was Fia's Champion 1. Here's Fia's Champion 2, Sorcerer Roger. And here comes number 3, 4, and 5. Lionel the Lionhearted, some random cleric, and some big bruiser boy with double axes. The tough one being Lionel. And you can see they have access to death magic. Ow. They also have access to big weapons. As for why Lionel... So we know why Roger was one of Fia's supporters. After all, Roger got touched by Deathblight. Fia and Roger were accomplices for a lot of this. And look, you can even see the mark of the Rune of Death. The full circle of it when all of these skulls get shot out. As for Lionel, if you remember, when we got to Leyndell, we found a corpse. We found Fia's negligee there, and we found Lionel's set, meaning that Fia probably at one point laid with Lionel on his deathbed and brought him new life. So, he might be thankful for her, and that might be why Lionel is here. He's here for his waifu. My waifu's better. She gives me laser swords. Sorry, Lionel. And as for why they are here, reminder, the last time we saw Fia, she talked specifically about those who live in death and that they should be allowed a modicum of respect and the ability to exist. And that she considers herself as someone who is an ally of them. After all, her entire job as a deathbed companion is to lay with someone who is on their deathbed or already dead and give new vitality, new life to them. To continue a cycle of life, even if it's in the Golden Order's eyes, a bastardized form of life, it is still life. Sophia has a bit of, how should I put it? Empathy with those who live in death, empathy with those who are related to the death blight, and everything like that. So that is why Fia is here. That is why she has her protectors here, because she is here, and because she has a job that she wants to do. And we know all about her job. By the way, I actually have enough souls to level up for the first time in a long time. Look at that! What should I put it in? 1 point of endurance for fun? Maybe get a point of... 1 point of endurance for fun. Oh yeah, look at our stamina go up by 1. And our equip load go up by almost 0. Leveling endurance is so bad in this game. Oh man, it's so worthless. There you go. +1 endurance, buddy. I still have 8,000 runes. So, this is where Fia's been this whole time, ever since she left the Round Table Hold way back when we first had gone to Caelid. Way back when we had first gotten from her a golden and silver dagger, which was Dee's dagger, and it was dilapidated. And the whole reason behind why Fia wanted to end Dee's life is for 2 reasons. Number 1, Dee is a hunter of those who live in death, a tireless hunter of those who live in death, who goes around weeding out Deathroot and killing anything that is, in Fia's eyes, deserving of empathy and still alive, just a different form of life. And 2, because it gave Fia something she was looking for. Because Dee had something she was looking for. Let's talk to her, and she'll help us understand a little more.
Ah, there you are.
There I am.
I knew you would come. What is it you intend? To deny us and our ways, like the dogmatic brutes of the Golden Order?
So here we go. We have our choice here. We can say that's right, and we can put an end to Fia, and we can kill her. Or, no, give me a hug.
You are an odd one. I am the guardian of those who live in death. They call me a foul and rotten witch. Yet you still wish to be held by me?
Give hugs. Life is hard, and I need a hug.
Have you ever seen a Hallowbrand? When the first of the demigods died, his flesh was marked with the half-wheel wound of the centipede. Godwyn's Hallowbrand has since been recovered at the Round Table Hold. But there is another Hallowbrand out there somewhere, and I must find it before the time comes we receive our Lord.
So yeah, that's what she got from Dee, ultimately. The reason that Dee was hanging out in the Round Table Hold so much was he was using it as a safeguard and protector of that mark of death, that half a mark of death. It had been removed from Godwyn long ago, carved out of the corpse, despite that not actually removing the death from him. But Fia was trying to get her hands on it. In fact, she wants to complete it.
When Godwyn died, a Hallowbrand scored his flesh, but another exists. Another mark in the shape of the half-wheel wound of the centipede, and I must find it before the time comes we receive our Lord. My hands will be dirtied once more by the deed. Will you still let me hold you, even then?
Hey, guess what? I found that Fia. I've already found it. Reminder that the only way for us to get this is to advance Ronnie's quest line far enough to be given the inverted Carian statue, take it to the Carian study hall, and then go to the Divine Tower of Liurnia and find her corpse. The corpse of her flesh, that is. Here you go, Fia.
This is the other Hallowbrand. How did you... Oh, my utmost thanks. With this, Godwyn can take his rightful place as first of the dead and claim a second, illustrious life. You are our true champion. And though I can't be of any use to you, can I hold you tight? If only for a moment.
Bigger hug. The Radiant Baldaquin's Blessing.
I will soon lay with Godwyn, and it will surely stir within me the new life of the Golden Prince, and first dead of the demigods, as the rune of those who live in death. Please, do one thing for me. Brandish this child, my rune, and take for yourself the throne. Stay the persecution of those who live in death by becoming our Elden Lord. I will soon lay with Godwyn to conceive my child, the rune. Brandish my rune, and take for yourself the throne. Stay the persecution of those who live in death by becoming our Elden Lord.
So here you go. This is Fia's motivation. At the end of the day, what she wants to do is complete the death rune for Godwyn, to allow him to finally, truly die. His flesh will finally be able to die. But what it will birth for Fia, as she will lay with him as a deathbed companion, and this is why she's so eager to be gaining those little bits of energy from heroes over and over and over again throughout the course of the game. Anytime she hugged us, she's been taking little bits of our energy, of our vitality, in order to be able to birth this rune. A rune that will then be included in the cycle, included in the Elden Ring. A rune that will allow those who live in death to be more accepted, in a way, to be more normal. Let's take a quick peek at what she gave us. So we've got not only the Baldaquin's Blessing, but the Radiant Baldaquin's Blessing. So here we go. Favor bestowed by a deathbed companion. Protection of a hidden temple in the guise of a bedchamber. Use FP to temporarily boost your poise. This favor allows one to forget any aches and pains. In death there is only peace, for in death there can be no sensation. So, this is... for a very short period of time, you have super poise, basically. It gives you a ton of poise. And makes it so you can shrug off most attacks. That's what we've been given. In fact, if we look at our poise right now, 52, we activate that, and now our poise is 79. That's a lot of poise for a very small cost. But now she's given us a Radiant Baldaquin's Blessing. Protection of a hidden temple in the guise of a blood chamber. This blessing is of the utmost rarity. Use FP to temporarily raise poise. The effect lasts longer than a mere favor. It is said a deathbed companion will only produce a blessing of this kind for a champion but once in her lifetime. The sole blessing which she imbues of her own volition. So this is Fia's way of saying thanks. She has given us the ultimate blessing that a deathbed companion can give to someone. And this is like almost infinite poise for a period of time almost. It's pretty darn good. And anytime we come back here, we can get a hug from Fia.
This is goodbye, my dear, but I am satisfied. I choose to lie with Godwyn of my own will, not the remains of one chosen for me, and I will bear a child who will inherit your warmth too. What greater blessing could there be but to be born a deathbed companion? This is goodbye, but I am satisfied. I choose and I will bear who will inherit. What greater...
Let's sit down again. Again, laying with Godwyn's kind of certainly a decision to make. He looks a little... I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd want to lay with that. But reminder, despite all the innuendo and euphemisms that are used regarding Fia and the Deathbed Companions, it's definitely totally not actually having sex. Definitely not. Even though every line of dialogue is basically saying they have sex. But, you know. Anyway, she is now laying with Godwyn. And we can enter the deathbed dream. Let's see what's in that dream. What do they dream of? This time we're the one hugging her. Oh my god, it's Lich Dragon Fortisax! Behold! A real-ass Elder Dragon. Or Ancient Dragon. Complete with red lightning and everything. And this one is way more powerful than the other red lightning dragon we fought. This one's so powerful that the lightning is literally just always spilling off him randomly. Oh wow, that hits his head? Oh no. That's kind of broken. Look at that! He's got two! Not just one, but two! Here he comes. Uh-oh. Camera! Camera, why? You let him lightsaber me. Isn't he one of the stronger bosses in Elden Ring? Yeah, he's up there. I actually think he's a pretty easy boss, all things considered, compared to some of the bosses. As long as you don't forget that you're constantly electrified in this fight. And you will explode in lightning every so often. Like so. He's not that bad. You're too far away for that to hit me, sir. Here he comes. Whee! Big spinny. Aiming for his head is just such a bad idea. Ow. Alright, enough living to talk shit, get hit life. Let's actually, like, kill him. It's been fun, Fortnite sex, but let's finish this. Oh, come on. That should have hit his tail. All right, there we go. Remembrance of the Lich Dragon. He looks so cool. He is so cool. Lich Dragon Fortis Axe is super cool. Remembrance of Lich Dragon Fortis Axe hewn into the Erd Tree. After Godwyn the Golden became the Prince of Death, the ancient dragon fought long and hard against the death within his companion. But alas, victory was never achieved, and its only reward was corruption. So hey, remember when we had first found something with red lightning on it, and it talked about the fact that... Here we go, the first thing with lightning on it. Long ago, Godwyn the Golden defeated the ancient dragon Fortis Axe and befriended his fallen foe, an event that gave rise to the ancient dragon cult in the capital. Godwyn fought against Fortis Axe in the war between the dragons and the Golden Order, but instead of finishing off his opponent when he had the chance to, he decided to befriend Fortis Axe, proving that man and dragon could get along. Fortis Axe then had pretty much a life debt to Godwyn. They became good friends. As Godwyn was then turned into this, Fortis Axe did everything in his power, diving into the very essence of Godwyn's body, trying to fight back against the death root and the spread of it within his very being. But unfortunately, the rune of death was more powerful than what the ancient dragon could possibly fight back against. Because, reminder, the runes govern, like, the laws of the universe. They are literal god powers, super god powers. If you remove a rune from, and hide it away, you completely remove that concept that the rune defines, like the rune of death. It's too strong for a dragon to have been able to fight back against. And the only thing that happened was Fortis Axe doing everything he could to help his fallen friend, wound up becoming hewn with death himself and became a lich dragon, corrupted by it. But hey, look at this. Fia has done what she set out to do. She has combined the two curse marks together. The Mending Rune of the Death Prince. Let's see, where could it be placed? There it is. The rune gestated by Fia, the Deathbed Companion, used to restore the fractured Elden Ring when brandished by the Elden Lord. Formed of the two Hallowbrand half-wheels combined, it will embed the principle of life within death into order. The Golden Order was created by confining the destined death. Thus, this new order will be one of death restored. Essentially, what this does is twofold. Death will now actually come to people. This will remove the effect of the Golden Order where people are put into a cycle of eternal reincarnation, where they're absorbed into the Erd Tree, both body and spirit, and then reborn anew at some point later. And instead, when someone dies, they are given life within death, as in those who live in death will now become the norm once one reaches their time. Although the difference could be very stark, we don't really know whether or not that means that there'll be mindless skeletons walking around, or if they'll still have a level of themselves still capable of conversing or whatnot. But one way or another, this essentially would repair and bring back the power of destined death into the lands between. Whether that means those that live in death become the norm or not. But Fia has completed her quest. It is now completely done. Hey, I wonder where this takes us. Where do you think it's going to teleport us to at the foot of the Prince of Death? The foot of the roots of the Erd Tree. Where do you think it's going to take us, chat? Any second now. Wow, this one's taking a while to load. It takes us to Lindell! Specifically, it takes us to the East Capital Rampart area, but more importantly, this church, where at the front of it, you have a corpse. So, perhaps something a little bit related to the Deathbed Companions. Perhaps. Honestly, kind of a little bit hard to say whether it does or not. But yes, that's another way into Lindell. If you didn't want to go through the normal way, you can instead go all the way to the roots of the capital city and then go say hi to Morgoth's big brother. His very dead big brother. And that is it for Fia's quest. But let's do something just a little bit more. And that is go talk to someone who we have intentionally avoided talking to. And that is D, Hunter of the Dead's brother. The D we knew was Darian, but there is a D here in Nokron who's been waiting all this time. And there's a reason why I didn't give him the armor that he wants. But he's back down here in the Siofra Aqueduct, so let's go over to him. He should be, like, right over there. Let me just take care of you. Am I dumb? I'm dumb. He's the other direction. So, quick reminder of D and D. They were born as twins of two different bodies, two different minds, but one shared soul, which is why they were not treated particularly well by those around them, because they thought that was creepy and weird. That is also why their armor depicts two different bodies, but joined as one. One silver, one gold. Every last piece of the twin set is a depiction of two merged as one. Where the heck's the helmet for it? Oh, here it is. Because it has both the gold and the silver in it. Anyway. Here, take this Twin Arms set, buddy. Hey there, he tells us Dee's name. Darion. We get Inner Order. Anyway, the whole reason why I didn't give him that before is that once he has that armor, he goes on to fulfill the dying wish of his brother.
Prince of Death, take a good long look. See the wrath of the Golden Order, the Order's justice writ in blood. This is what's become of your precious witch. Naught but expired meat and bone. This is a proper death, oh Prince. Look at this rotten whore. No more children can be got from this useless flesh. Behold, your mother is dead. This is revenge, you witch, and you ghoul. This is the wrath of Dee.
So yeah, if you don't complete Fia's quest first, you will find him here standing over Fia's corpse. He will have beaten his way through Fia's protectors and have killed her. That's why I wanted to complete Fia's quest first. And we get Fia's hood and Fia's robe.
Hello. The rotten witch is dead. The Golden Order unsullied. Now I can look my brother Darion in the eye. Honeyed rays of gold, deliver my spirit. Darion, now I have no regrets. Honeyed rays of gold, deliver my spirit. Darion, honeyed...
No regrets.
Very well. Then you are a blight. A defiler of the Golden Order and murderer of my brother. Die. 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 I'll grind your corpse into that vile wench's rotting remains. A witch's eternal embrace, just as you wished.
Boy, he's real angry at me.
How could this? Forgive me. Darion.
And that gives us the twin set back and our new piece of equipment, the inseparable sword. Sword forged by compounding silver and gold, a sacred weapon to hunt those who live in death. The inseparable twins found solace in the Golden Order, the only institution not to revile them as accursed beings. Skill Sacred Blade. Grant the armament attacks Holy Essence and fire off a Golden Blade projectile. The armament retains its Holy Essence for a while. So, that's very similar. Look at that. Very similar to what we have with the Darkmoon Greatsword, just not quite as strong. And, of course, we have Fia's equipment now. Hood of black cloth that covers the whole head, worn by Fia, the deathbed companion, on her journey after being exiled from her home. The fabric itself is soft as silk. There it is. Robe of black cloth that covers the entire body, worn by Fia. The fabric itself is soft as silk and thin enough that those embraced can feel every pulse, every bit of her warmth. And now that truly is the end of Fia's questline and the questline of the D brothers. By the way, Fia dying after she has lain with Godwin and produced that curse mark for us is no difference from what would happen here. The only difference is now she's in a pool of blood instead of just laying here. The second that she lays with Godwin, she is then never going to get up again or say anything ever again. Never, ever. By the way, I want to point out that, despite the fact that Godwin's body should now be given a true death from that curse mark, I don't see a whole lot of difference here. Interesting, that. Okay, and that is it for Fia's questline. We've done it. He didn't even put up a fight? Oh, no, not really. Devin is strong. He does lots of damage, but, we're so much stronger, it's not even funny. So there's one thing left for us to do in this area, and that's to lay down in this coffin. Where do you think this coffin will go, chat? Oh no, I'm clipping through it with my outfit. Disney World? It's never gonna be Disney World, guys. Honestly, this isn't Kingdom Hearts. We're not gonna ride the Pirates of the Caribbean ship ride. I'm sorry. The Tokyo Ghoul remake. You know what? Close enough, I guess. We are once more underground, as you may be able to tell. Ainsel River, Maine. Hey, look! We've been here! It takes us exactly to where Rena's tower teleports us to. Because if you recall, this is the source of both the Siofra and Ainsel rivers. The coffin that we laid down in was right over here, so it just flowed right down this way for us. I love our transportation choice of lay down in a stone coffin and hope we don't die on the way down the many waterfalls. I mean, it works. You can't argue with success, I guess. Could be worse. Okay, then. Next thing for us to do, we're going to go talk to Garank, the Beast Clergyman. I think I might have all the death root for him. If I don't have all of it, I'm close. I'm like maybe one off if I don't have all of it. Hey, Garank. I've got some num-nums for you. Here you go.
I won't forget. Again. Mine appetite. My sin. I must have more. I must consume more.
More. Beast Claw. Whoops, went too far. Never mind, I went not far enough. Incantation taught by Garank, the Beast Clergyman. Creates beast claws that rend the land with shockwaves. Charging enhances potency. This incantation represents the fury of Garank, his bestial nature returned as much as it does his restless agitation. We've seen that cast by a couple other things, including Vulgar Militiamen, surprisingly enough. Here's another one. I feed my dong. He becomes strong.
Death, my sin, should not be touched by the hand of man. I shall grant thee my claws. Feed me more.
The Stone of Garank. Throw a rock. Long ago, Garank was a beast of such terrifying ferocity that his former name meant Death of the Demigods. Just pick up and throw a big-ass rock. Here, another one.
I won't forget. Again, mine appetite. My sin. I must have more.
Beast Claw, Great Hammer. New weapon. So I didn't have enough for all of it. There's still some Deathroot out there. There it is. A great hammer with a striking end modeled to resemble 5 beastly claws. The black nails protruding from golden fur are said to represent Sarash, Lord of Beasts, who went on to become King Godfrey's regent. Unique skill of the Regal Beast Claw. Slam the hammer into the ground, rending the land asunder with the armament's 5 bestial claws. I'm pretty sure that just does exactly the Beast Claw incantation that we got. But let's go give it a quick test away from him so that we don't accidentally hit him. Normal Great Hammer swings. There it is. Just the Beast Claw incantation. Which is, to be perfectly honest, not the strongest thing in the world. It's okay. And you ask, what breed is my dog? I guess you could call this a Shadow Hound.
I shall grant thee feed.
Yeah, Shadow Hound works for him. After all, look at his black fur under the cloak. Okay, so I still need another Deathroot. Maybe even 2. I think it's only 1 that I need, but where is the other Deathroot? I think it's on the mountaintop of the giants. Hey! Quit barking. Bad dog. Let me double check. Yeah, mountaintop of the giants. There's a couple more for me to get. Not surprising, not surprising. So we're not going to be able to finish off with Garank's stuff until we have explored there. Well, in that case, since the mountaintop of the giants is where the rest of that Deathroot lies, let's head on up.